We're live each and every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 11 Eastern, 7 to 10 Central. Also on Big 12 Studios, the Big 12 Fast Channel. And we welcome in the head coach of the Arizona State women's volleyball team, J.J. Van Niel, recently named the Big 12 Coach of the Year and a number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, playing Coppin State in the opening round. Hey, Coach, good morning. I know it's early out there. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me this morning.
So your team is what, 26 and 3, dominant again in the Big 12, getting ready for the NCAA tournament. How would you describe and kind of summarize the year and the identity of your squad?
Messy. um, it was a 100% new lineup, and at the beginning of the year, we just happened to have a lot of injuries that just kept happening. So we're kind of shaking lineups up around and moving things around quite a bit. But I think, the thing that sort of has defined the team is just quite a bit of resilience. I think with all those ups and downs at the beginning, we've had our backs against the wall several times in several matches where I was like, all right, well, we're taking an L, and the next thing someone goes back, it's on a serving run, and we pull out a quasi miracle. And it happened a few different times, and so I think the team's pretty resilient. We'll just backs will be against the wall, and they'll just kind of figure out a way. Someone will go back online and get a service run. Someone will make a big play out of system, and it's been fun to see.
Yeah, 2 seasons, Coach Van Niel, 58-10, the fastest in the history of Arizona State volleyball to get to 50 wins. It's incredible. That's not bad to win 58 of your first 68 at Arizona State. But what I'm curious about is how you went from hedge funds to coaching volleyball. So you spent, 12 years in the financial world?
Yeah. I started coaching a little on the sides, maybe the last two or 3 years, while I was I was at a hedge fund in San Diego, and I started playing volleyball again, and in some adult leagues, and then just one of the nights I was playing had been canceled for a club tryout. So I don't even know why. I just said, hey, do you ever need an extra coach? Literally don't even know why. I have no idea. I went in to go play volleyball. I ended up coming out as a volunteer coach because I'm like, I don't need money. I travel all the time. I'll just help a team. And I got pretty hooked right away with coaching and trying to figure out how to teach and be a better teacher, and the analytics side, all that stuff. And so, yeah, I back in 2010, I left. I don't know, I was kind of burnt out, and I left the finance world. I was just going to take a sabbatical for like 6 months and just kind of coach and putz around and then go back. And here I am today. I never went back.
Take us through some of the analytical pieces that you look at. I mean, that's become a thing in all sports across the board, football, college basketball. In volleyball, what are the analytical pieces that you really hone into?
I think it's a tool, and I think there's an art and science behind using some of this stuff, as I've learned over the years. I think when I first got in, was working at Utah, I was really, really dogmatic about the numbers say this, you have to do this, and that I think most coaches will tell you that it doesn't really tease out that way. I use it mostly as a way to kind of create some benchmarks and standards, whether it be for an individual or a team. And I think as you're putting a team together and you're kind of trying to figure out, okay, what's this team going to be about? Like, what are we going to be good at? What are we not going to be good at? What do we have to work on? I think it's important to have some measurements or some standards you can see if you're kind of hitting your marks. And so I'd say, a good portion is kind of using that. I mean, most coaches are looking at, the same things. Over the years, I've just dug a lot into things and try to figure out stats. And honestly, sometimes I go down a rabbit hole and it's a cool stat that I think works. And then there's other times where it's just a complete waste of time. So I think in general, most of the main things most people are looking at. But yeah, we have a technical coordinator that helps out, and we just try to dig in and study stuff and figure out kind of where we should be focusing our attention. I guess is probably the biggest use for me of the stats is time is your most limited resource in the world, and young people don't realize that. As you get older, my age, you realize that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think I like to use it a lot to just sort of focus on, all right, where are the areas we got to make sure we got to be really good at.
I'm curious. You grew up in Southern California and went to USC and coached there, and now at Arizona State. So obviously the Pac-12 roots there. Give us your sense of the Big 12 right now. I mean, it feels like a really successful year overall for the conference.
Yeah, I mean, the Big 12 has been really, really fun to be in. Obviously, we were talking off air. TCU's in the Final Four for women's soccer, which is super cool. You're seeing the stuff in football. I think, everywhere we went on the road, there's just kind of energy about the campuses, which is really fun. And even when we play, like fans were coming to our matches and stuff. So I feel like there's a lot of fan support behind the Big 12, and that helps. And obviously, some of the successes of last year, in the Big 12 helps push things, the next year. Like I can tell you at our school, like Arizona, I mean, last year's success for football, like we sold out every game this year in football, which was, electric when you went to those matches. And, we set a bunch of records for attendance in volleyball. And I think, like I said, like pretty much everywhere, we went to go play around the Big 12. Like there was a big crowd, a rowdy crowd, fun crowd, and I think school spirit shows. Yeah, I think when the conference is being successful, then there's a lot more school spirit around the conference because everyone's hearing about it, right? Like there's the media, there's the hype, and whether your team's winning or another team's winning, you're still hearing about it. And I think there's some pride in the Big 12, and so I think it's been really fun, and like I said, it's been pretty electric at all the campuses that we go to.
Talking Arizona State women's volleyball with their head coach, J.J. Van Niel. Arizona State, the number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, begin play tomorrow against Coppin State. Coach, Ari and I, every morning, we walk into the studio and we roast one another. So we have to note that you have an all-American mustache, okay? Man, you're rocking that thing. And it looks fantastic, and I'm very jealous, and I know Ari is too. Ari can't grow facial hair. He's got a baby face. Where is the inspiration for the stash, and how long have you had it?
The inspiration, so sound bad. My wife will be mad at me. My assistant coach Presley Anderson, who's phenomenal. Last year during November, we were getting ready to play a match, and we had all our game day routines. And I came out and I had a big old beard, and I just said, "All right, am I leaving the beard? We're getting towards the end of November, or am I shaving it into a mustache?" And Presley's like, "Go mustache. Let's see what it looks like." And
That's
so of course
awesome.
I walked out the first one with like chops, totally obnoxious. She's like, "Go back in there and do it right." And then she said, "Oh, I like it." So it's stuck.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I've just that's where it started and just kind of left it going. But yeah, I think my wife tolerates it now.
Man, that's awesome. The mustache itself is 36-1 at home, like the Arizona State women's volleyball team. You guys are crushing it. Hey, congrats on all the success and best of luck in the NCAA tournament. Thanks for your time.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate having me on.
All right, we'll see
Have a
you.
good one.
Thanks, JJ.
J.J. Van Niel, Arizona State women's volleyball head coach, Big 12 coach of the year. Arizona State, a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, 36-1 at home in his career with the Sun Devils. They get ready for Coppin State, representing the Big 12 as a high seed in the dance.
By the way, former Baylor volleyball player, Presley Anderson.
Yes,
Yeah, there you go.
Fun fact, look at
Yeah.
this guy.
she was a Cal Bear, and she was a Cal Bear, and then she transferred to Baylor. And funny thing, I recruited her at USC, and she didn't come to us. She went to Baylor. So I always give her grief. I'm like, Presley, I would have coached you, like, and you would have loved me. I would have been your middles coach because I coached the middles at USC.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. Coach J.J. Van Niel here on Big 12 Today. We'll take